Hello, I'm Cliff Sarantine, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Wildwood Ways, Edible and Medicinal Treasures. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the elderberry. Through the winter, the elderberry is an inconspicuous bush between 3 and 8 feet tall. It might easily be confused for any number of other types of bushy, brushy plants that grow along ponds and stream sides. But come the spring, the elderberry rapidly begins to stand out. Pale green, multi-part leaves emerge from slender branches that are delicate and can easily be broken. Even then, there is nothing really remarkable about the elderberry, and it might easily be confused for any number of other streamside bushes. However, as the summer progresses, the elderberry will soon begin to put out clusters of small blossoms arranged in a roughly bell shape, known as a cyme. A cyme may hold as few as only a couple dozen small white blossoms, or a single cyme can literally hold hundreds. When these cymes first emerge, they face upward. They are also characteristically flat, and this is one of the identifying features of the elderberry. As time goes by, small berries will begin to form on the cymes. As they grow and develop weight, they will weigh the cymes down, eventually turning most of them over so that the cymes will hang upside down, lending them an even more bell-like appearance. A cyme full of elderberry blossoms is fragrant, though not in the delicate floral way one would tend to think of among other blossoms such as rose or apple or cherry. Rather, the blossoms of elderberry cymes have heavy fragrance that might be likened to oatmeal, hay, or even the pollen of cattails. Cymes of elderberry blossoms have long been popular for their many different uses. In Great Britain, elderberry cymes are commonly steeped, and the essence that is drawn from them is used to make a wonderful beverage called elderberry cordial. Served with carbonated water, it is absolutely delicious and is without a shadow of a doubt my most favorite beverage. As well, cymes of elderberry blossoms can easily be turned into delicious pastries. Merely take an entire cyme of blossoms, dip them in batter, and deep fry them till they are golden brown. Then dust with either powdered sugar or baste with a little bit of warm honey. Before elderberries begin to fruit, they can be identified by their pale brown slender trunks and even more delicate branches. The wood of the elderberry is very fragile and breaks with great ease. Folklore records that elderberry wood has a soft pith and can easily be hollowed out to make whistles. Some wild food foragers advise against trying such a thing, since all parts of the elderberry plant except for the blossoms and the berries contain cyanide. However, if you want to try making a flute or a whistle out of an elderberry branch, feel free to do so, as I doubt you're going to make any active attempt to eat the wood. You'd have to try to consume the wood or make a tea from the wood or something, some other foolish endeavor like that to actually consume enough cyanide to make it harmful for you. Just hollow out the pith of the wood, drill your holes in it, and create your flute or your whistle. The bark of the elderberry is a medium pale brown. Elderberry leaves are multi-part. The leaves are lanceolate and slightly toothed, and they grow in pairs opposite one another. There will typically be 4 to 8 pairs of leaflets on a single elderberry leaf, and at the very end of the leaf stalk there will be another leaf pointing outward. These leaves are fairly distinctive. Elderberries can be found in abundance out in the open, growing beside water, and one can find them growing often at the edge of woods or places where the woods might break to make way for a watercourse. Terrain is presented in this aerial footage represents almost ideal ground on which to find elderberries. Here you see a semi-remote lake that I often enjoy canoeing on that I have dubbed the Whispering Lake. Elderberries may be found along the banks of this lake, or they may be found alongside the streams flowing into this lake. Here, where the camera is panning down into a marshy area, on the outer edge of the marsh, just as the ground lifts up out of the marsh, is an ideal area to find elderberries. They are thick in this area because here they can grow where their roots can get their feet wet. Elderberries can be likened to the grapes of the north. In fact, they readily grow in abundance in places that are getting a bit too far north, rugged and cold for grapes to grow. Finding a thick crop of elderberries is a beautiful thing. One of the great things about elderberries is how quickly they can be harvested. I harvested these 2 sacks in just about an hour. What you see in this photo represents about 30, maybe 40 pounds of elderberries. And the beauty of elderberries is they can be used for so many things. The juice of the berries can easily be turned into jellies, wines, cordials, sauces. In fact, the sky is just about the limit. Just remember again that all parts of the elderberry plant are poisonous except for the berries and the blossoms. So when you make juice out of the berries in preparation to do whatever you're going to do with them, be sure to discard those seeds. Don't try to crack them, cook them, or use them in any sort of way whatsoever. Just discard the seeds. Also, if you want to help the elderberry along in your area, it is a hardy plant and grows a long way south and north. So when you harvest elderberries, save a couple handfuls of the berries and do the plant a favor. Go out and plant some of the seeds alongside a watercourse or a pond. Just put them a ½ inch to an inch in the ground and leave them to their fate. Elderberries are hardy, and most likely, unless something goes out of its way to destroy them, they will take and grow. Making elderberry wine is an annual late summer tradition here at our homestead, Twa Corby's Hollow, and every year we add 30 bottles or so to our wine cellar. We always like to keep a year-old batch so that we can drink it aged, and we keep a new batch to age. Unlike some grape wines such as Syrah, elderberry wine does not need to age a long time, and I find it's best to drink it at about 1 year old. On the other hand, unlike some other grape wines like Pinot Noir that are best drunk young, elderberry wine does not mind aging either, and I've had bottles 5 and 6 years old that were also excellent. I don't honestly find that they're any better, they just hold their flavor and they keep their age well. Thank you for having joined me for another episode of Wildwood Ways, Edible and Medicinal Treasures. Keep watching to learn more about the natural world and the joys of getting to know it. As always, go soft, go gently, and leave no trace. Let's go home, boy.